So thank you everyone who might be online. This afternoon, exactly at 4 o'clock, we have Emily with us. Emily has actually been raising awareness on our work on FGM, female genital mutilation. Thank you everyone who might be online. This afternoon, then yeah, it's actually Mayako coming back, and actually it's on this International Women's Day. We would like to to have Emily officially cut her hair. She raised quite a good amount of money for the organization, and the money will be going actually to the provision of psychosocial support to women who have experienced female genital mutilation. We've actually been also communicating with Emily and talking with her on how we might continue working with her as our ambassador for this year, which is also the 20th anniversary for AkiDwA. We are excited for the achievement that we have made, in particular on the area of FGM work. As we know, in Ireland, we have the Female Genital Mutilation Act 2012, of where FGM cannot be performed in Ireland. Also, it has an extraterritorial element where you cannot take the child outside the country for the same purposes. And we need to continue raising this awareness. But more important, everybody needs to know that female genital mutilation is a harmful practice that continues to be subjected to many women, and already many women have been subjected to it, almost 200 million. In Ireland, we have almost 6,000 women who are living here that have been subjected to female genital mutilation. And in February this year, we had the first conviction of female genital mutilation in the country. So it's very important that we continue to raise awareness. I mean, February last year, 2020, we had the first conviction of female genital mutilation in Ireland. And it's very important to continue raising awareness and addressing this issue because of the hidden nature of female genital mutilation. So from AkiDwA, it's to thank Emily. Thanks so much for your willingness, for your courage to cut the hair, which is actually beautiful, in order to fundraise and also to raise awareness about the harmful practice of FGM. We still have so much to be done, but we thank Emily for raising awareness and supporting us in a very meaningful way, that we will have some women benefiting from this action she has taken. And we've actually been going through this journey since it was launched on 6th of February up to today now, the cutting of the hair. So thank you very much, Emily. I don't know whether you want to say anything before the hair is cut.
Just thank you again, and just everything you've said. FGM is a terrible thing, and it's a thing that's not really talked about much in Ireland. But the fact that there has been a conviction for it in Ireland just in last year shows that it is an issue that is happening in this country and is something we need to address. It's a horrible thing, and I'm so glad that AkiDwA is there and that you're doing such amazing work to help stop it. And I'm glad to be able to do a little bit to help raise awareness. So I think that's it. My lovely sister has volunteered to be the one to do the cut because we're in COVID, so we can't get out. But she's here and she's going to cut my hair. There's we were lent actually the scissors and given some instruction by Trim hairdressers. Dara Byrne, who very kindly gave us the scissors and gave Grace some pointers.
Yeah, some tips and tricks for doing it.
So we're going to be cutting off about 23 inches. And thank you to everyone who has donated and who has shared the campaign. So let's start.
You just section your hair first.
Oh, okay. And thank you again to everyone who, because we raised over €6,000 for counselling for women who have undergone FGM, it's 3 times our original goal. And thank you so much to everyone who shared the campaign, who donated. It was just great. I'm really nervous.
It's okay.
Okay, she's going to be doing it bit by bit, which is why we're not going to live stream the entire thing because that would take a while. But she has her phone set up, which is taking a time lapse, so you can see the whole thing happen very quickly once it's done.
We'll post it on Instagram.
Yeah, I can feel her behind.
Can you tell us where the hair is going to go, Emily? Because I know you're going to donate it as well.
Yes, the hair that's cut off is going to be donated to the Rapunzel Trust. They make wigs, particularly for children who have lost their hair, normally due to medical procedures and cancer. Oh, I can hear her cutting it. So that's where the hair is going to be sent off to. So it's one haircut and two great causes. And she's just cut the first
little bit.
Yeah. Just cut the first bit. And
there's the rest of that there.
There's
Oops, sorry, it's getting stuck in the comb.
Yeah. So this hair is going to be sent off to the Rapunzel Trust and hopefully made into a wig for someone who needs it.
A little vital.
Yeah.
What a way to mark International Women's Day. Out of selfishness, you have actually decided to cut your hair, which you've had for so long. It's beautiful hair. It's everything that you had. And actually even donating it to the people that may need it most. It's such a kind gesture. So thank you. Thank you so much, Emily.
And it's hair, it's very tied up in what we sort of view of femininity and the idea of femininity. So for a lot of women or children, losing their hair due to illness is quite traumatic. And that's one of the reasons I decided to cut my hair for this, because hair is so associated with the idea of, femininity, and how you choose to wear your hair is how you choose to express your identity. And that idea of what's the word? Not self-determination. Self-expression, but autonomy over yourself. And then the idea of cutting it, that was what made me think of FGM, because it's an abuse against women. It's literally taking away their body and part of their body. And it's just, I'm sorry, it's such a, I don't have words to express how and it's not something that I've experienced, but just even the idea of it, that this is being done to women and being done to children, is so horrific. And I'm glad I can do a small bit to help to raise awareness, which will hopefully end it, because it's not something that should be happening. It should never be happening.
For the sake of the people who don't know what female genital mutilation is, or we actually shorten it to FGM. According to World Health Organization, it's a total removal or partial removal of the female genitalia. And actually it has 3 types. We have 3 types of female genital mutilation. We have type 1, which is actually the removal of the libido. We also have the removal of the clitoris, and then it's removal of those both and stitching the female genitalia and only leaving a very small hole for a woman to pass the urine, and also when she's having periods. So it's really very, very severe, especially for the type 3. And here in Ireland, we have had, we said earlier, almost 6,000 women who have actually been subjected to female genital mutilation. And we continue AkiDwA together with the National Steering Committee on Female Genital Mutilation. Actually, AkiDwA champions the work on FGM in Ireland, but we also have other organizations that are also helping the fight for female genital mutilation. We have a clinic with Irish Family Planning Association. We also have Action Aid, who are also doing some work with the communities in Cork and other places. But we have little issues on this area that still continue to face so many women who have been impacted by this subjection of female genital mutilation. So we are very grateful that Emily can actually help us raise awareness. We are calling everybody that female genital mutilation is everyone concerned. It's actually a societal issue. It's not a migrant issue. It's not a countries where female genital mutilation is practiced issue only. As we know, migration is very significant in our lives and people keep on migrating. So it's happening worldwide. And we've heard that there are over 200 million of women who have been subjected to female genital mutilation, women and girls. And so we need to be vigilant to be able to protect women and girls. We also need to be able to support those people who have gone through female genital mutilation. Most of them are very much psychologically affected, and they remain with trauma, for the rest of their lives based on how female genital mutilation is performed. We would actually also ask people to go to our website and know more about female genital mutilation. Our website is www.akidwa.ie, and you'll get all the information you would want to know on female genital mutilation. You can as well learn more about it and even do maybe some training, online training. We have a web-based training on female genital mutilation, and at the very end you also get a certificate. So it's very, very important that people engage with our website to be able to learn more about female genital mutilation. We are also calling schools in particular, the third level, colleges, and in particular, secondary schools as well. We are looking to work with transition year students to be able to raise more awareness on this issue. So we are really looking at societal engagement on the issue of female genital mutilation. We are looking at everyone supporting our work and working with us to ensure that all children are protected. And like I have said, it's not a migrant issue. It's not only the 28 or 32 countries that practice female genital mutilation is an issue. It's an issue for everyone, because if your neighbor or anybody within the country is affected by FGM, we are all affected in one way or another. Emily was not affected by FGM. It's only that actually she wants to raise awareness on the issue, and it hurts her because of the fairness of the issue. So we also ask other people to be able to engage with us and work with us to support our work, mainly in raising awareness in any other way. You can see even using the hair, and Emily here, actually, when she contacted us in January, we couldn't believe that it's going to be like this and where we have reached now. And we, apart from, her getting some money for the organization for the counseling purposes, we've also been able to reach so many people to understand about FGM. Most of them have been hearing about FGM for the first time. Emily, did your friends know about FGM, for example?
Some did, but quite a lot didn't. And when I said the word FGM to them, what's FGM? Is that a band? And so for some of them, this was the first time they were hearing about FGM, and a lot of people sort of almost couldn't believe that this was a thing that was happening. And as you said, it's a global issue. It's an issue that happens everywhere, and it affects, if it is done to one woman, that affects everyone in her community, and then the ripples spread out. So yeah, a lot of people just hadn't heard of FGM. Or female genital mutilation.
And how did your family react when they heard that you're going to cut your hair for a cause that they didn't understand or they didn't know? What was the reaction among your friends and your family?
Well, actually, my family, including my sister here, had been trying to convince me to maybe trim my hair for a while, because it's quite long. And when I said I was going to cut it they were actually very supportive.
I was so proud of Emily for doing it, and for doing it for such a good cause. I think I was shocked at the rate of FGM in Ireland and how many children were at risk. I mean, that wasn't something that I was aware of before she decided to do this, but I'm incredibly proud of her for what she's doing and for being able to work with people like you and the organization. I think she's great, and I think she's taught me a lot on this journey.
My mother also has some involvement, had some friends who are involved with Holles Street, the maternity hospital, and they were very keen, because her friends would see, they're involved in that issue, and they do believe that yes, it's an important issue, and an issue that it needs special training and it needs more awareness of.
You're very right, yeah. And for the fact that, we spoke about the hidden nature of female genital mutilation. And sometimes, even if it's happening within homes or within families, it can be very hidden. People talk about the cultural aspect of it, because this is a cultural practice. It's actually of no benefit to the woman. And we've had many women speaking about the impact of female genital mutilation, and in particular, the health consequences, that the female genital mutilation has on many women. We are also hoping that, we were hoping that at least this year, because it's AkiDwA 20th anniversary this year, we've worked actually on the issue of FGM from 1999 up to today. We were hoping that maybe towards the end of the year, we will do a very big event where we can publicize about our achievement on the area of female genital mutilation. Achievement in terms of like having the law in place in Ireland, having actually people getting the opportunity to talk about it, because you can imagine female genital mutilation, it's not an issue that people want to be proudly talk about. It's a sensitive issue. And so even how you speak about it and how you express about it is also very important to the people that can engage. But we would like to thank everybody in Ireland, because people have been very, very supportive. We have actually, like, our work on female genital mutilation is funded by HSC, Social Inclusion Unit. And they have supported us quite a lot, in many ways and in many things, in advancing the work on female genital mutilation. We've also actually started working on engaging men, because it's very important that we engage men in our fight for sexual and gender-based violence. And so we are working, for example, with men in Cork, men in Dublin, men in Galway, to be able to talk more about this issue, including the faith and religious leaders, because they have a lot of authority within their own setup. Whether it's within the church or the mosque, they are listened more by their faithful or people that follows them. So it's very important to look at it from a wider perspective. But it's also important to have other people coming into it and helping us. People actually take it home when they hear from other sources, and that's why it's important to have Emily supporting us and taking this forward. Emily, how long had you grown your hair?
I've had long hair most of my life. I think the last time I got a proper haircut was maybe 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's quite a lot. And I think hair, it grows roughly, is it half an inch a month, Chris? Or I don't know. I've had long hair nearly my entire life.
All your life.
All my life. So it's been quite important to me. And just to show you, this is how much has been chopped so far.
Yeah, working our way up.
She's working her way. At the back, yeah. I can't see what she's doing, but I can hear it.
You can feel it.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, it's quite it's not a light decision to make, because it's something that and it's beautiful. Lida, your hair is very beautiful. So it definitely, you will look different, And do you intend to grow your hair again?
I think so. I might grow it to the same length. But I do intend to grow it again, and maybe in 6 years' time, I'll be cutting it off again, like this.
Mm-hmm. Good. Emily, when we were talking earlier, we spoke about you supporting our organization in advancing our work on FGM, and actually being our ambassador for 2021 to communicate about FGM. What do you think of this role? Would it be something that you would take? You would want to take?
Yes, I would love to. And as I was saying before, I'm quite excited, and I hope to do it well, and to continue raising awareness about FGM to people who mightn't necessarily have thought about it before, because as I said, it is an issue. It's a global issue. It's something that affects everyone in society, though it might be hidden and invisible. If you're living in a world where this is happening, you're being affected.
Yeah, that's so good. Just to say that again, in February, on the 6th of February, it was International Zero Tolerance Day. And actually we had a conference, to talk about female genital mutilation and the hidden nature, and also looking at the whole area of protection and how do we communicate, to families and ensure that children are protected. And in that meeting, one of the speakers was the key investigator for the first case of female genital mutilation in Ireland. We are hoping that we can do more sessions with the community. The affected, what you call the affected community. But I think in anything that we do, it's important to engage everybody, because people also have the duty to report. Based on the Children Act 2016, people should be able to report on anything that they feel is going wrong within the life of the child. If there's harm detected in particular, you have the obligation actually to report what we can call sometimes mandatory report. But with the issue of female genital mutilation, because of its hidden nature, people might not know about it. And that's why it's important to continue raising this awareness and talking about it throughout. So just going back to you, Emily, in the last 1 month, you have been very, very busy talking to people and also fundraising. Did you feel that when you made that decision, were you sure that you were going to achieve it, or what was your feeling towards the whole thing and the whole journey of actually starting the GoFundMe up to now?
Well, I suppose because we were in and still are in lockdown, I knew it was all going to have to be done through social media, which is something I'm not very au fait with, but I thankfully have help from her. I hoped that we would achieve our goal. The initial goal was to raise €2,000, so we hoped we would be able to. I felt we would be able to raise that. I felt that was an achievable goal. I was excited and nervous. I didn't think we would end up tripling the goal, which is what we did end up doing. And just so many people have been so kind in sharing it, in donating, and in starting conversations about a topic that they might not have spoken about otherwise.
But I also assume, because you see, I saw your video and I was aware, actually, I came back when this campaign was almost finished, the GoFundMe. But what shocked me was that, within, I think, 2 days or so, you had already reached the target. And I was very much challenged, because when you spoke about FGM, it's like you had worked on it before. Where did you get your information? How did you go around educating yourself about FGM so that you can support the cause?
Well, most of my information I got from AkiDwA. Your website has a lot of information on FGM. Also, the World Health Organization, they also have information. They have global statistics. I first remember the first time I came across FGM as a concept was I was at school, and it was in a book. I can't remember what book it was, but it was just very briefly mentioned. Sorry, Grace. It was just very briefly mentioned, and I was in my teens. I'd never heard of this. I didn't know this was a thing that happened, but it did stick in my mind. And as you said, we reached our goal in about the first 2 days, and that was, I have to say, huge thanks to my family and my friends and my family's friends, because they really took it on themselves. They sent it. My mum shared it with her friends. They shared it with their friends, which was just very, very kind and very moving of them.
Thank you, Emily. And also thanks to your mom. I know she's not on this video, but sometimes we didn't need people to support us. And most of the time it's normally families. You have your sister with you there supporting you now. And she supported you actually even in preparation of the video and throughout the process. You mentioned about having learned about FGM in school. And that's actually what we've been talking about in AkiDwA, the importance of reaching out to school. However, it has been very, very difficult and challenging to get the schools to open themselves in AkiDwA staff, or actually some of our volunteers who are the community or the ambassadors getting into schools. How important do you think it is, for having FGM being in education, reaching out to the educators and education in general?
I think it's very important, and I came across it while I was in school, but it wasn't in a lesson. It was a book I got from the school library that just happened to have it. And I remember in school we had classes on CSPE and SPHE, which really would have been a subject where FGM would have fitted into the curriculum, but it wasn't mentioned. And I think that it is important that it should be brought in, it should be discussed. I think in general, domestic violence, gender-based violence, it should be spoken about in schools to help firstly prevent it, and also so people know if it is happening, where can they reach the resources. And FGM, it is abuse, it is violence against women, against children. And so it is something that should be known about. And the tools, there are, like AkiDwA, as you said, you have a number of resources. You offer counselling, you offer training, and that people can know where to find that. And that it's, as you said, the hidden nature of it means that people don't know what it is, so don't know how to recognize signs of if someone might be vulnerable, and if they do recognize it, where do you find the information?
Yeah,
so I think it should
thank you, because
be brought into school.
yes, that you have said, yeah, I think it's very important to have the educators, take the sexual and gender-based violence in general, because we also have other issues like forced marriages, which are coming up in our work, and how children, the marriages are being even planned for children in secondary school without knowing where to go or what to do. But in terms of female genital mutilation, it's true, and this is something that we've been trying to advocate on, to be in the curriculum. We've also asked to be in the training for midwives and for nurses. You still find that, it's not into their, it's not into their subject matter. So it's not into their subjects for learning, which is very important. And that's why we take people back to our website, www.akidwa.ie, because Emily have said it very clearly. She found a lot of information there. Like I said earlier, you can also do some kind of training and even do an exam to test yourself at the very end, where you get a certificate. So it's very important that we try as much as possible, and maybe this will be one of the things that Emily might help us with. It's to try and advocate for FGM to be put into the curriculum, or to be taken seriously at a secondary level. I know we have a manual for teachers, but still we are very, very much behind in Ireland, where female genital mutilation is only left with NGOs to educate and to talk about it. We don't have other people, or committing as such to be able to support with FGM work. But Emily, before we finish, who is Emily? And based on the fact that now you have engaged yourself with this journey, of helping and supporting and raising awareness on FGM, do you want to describe yourself more?
Well, I'm now a woman with short hair, as you can see where Grace has got to. I'm a feminist. I did drama at college. I love fairy tales, and I want to end FGM. That's, even if I'm just doing a small part. Sorry, someone's whispering behind me. Even if this is just a small part, but if lots of people do lots of small parts, it becomes a big thing. That's me.
That's true. That's true. I was actually talking yesterday in one of the International Women's Day, and sometimes we look at people who inspire us. And Emily, I know now you have entered into the record of people that inspire others. Because people think that to be able to support or to be able to do anything, you have to do this magic or big things to be able to bring change. But definitely, you can see even with the cutting of the hair, which is precious to you, and it has been for many years. It's something that people might take for granted or might think it cannot help. And I think it's very important that you're innovative, because your innovation of looking into what you can do and how you can help has actually helped bring debate and discussion on this area. It has also maybe challenged so many people who would wish I did that as well, or I wish I can do that, or it will actually trigger other people who may want to do other things. So it's very important that we have people like Emily, people who are coming up with different ideas and different ways of tackling the problems and issues that we have. And this is definitely so much varied, in our work and in our organization. And it's just to encourage everyone out there who is listening, whether they are from Ireland or outside Ireland, to engage with the organizations that are doing empowerment, in particular of empowering women. We still know that, we are very far from gender equality or achieving gender equality. Emily termed herself as a feminist. Myself, I'm a very strong feminist too. And our organization is a feminist organization. Where we believe in women being treated equally with men, and that gender equality there, that women have access to opportunities, whether it's employment opportunities, whether it's opportunities for decision making and politics, or even employment, because still we know and we see we have still so many years to go before we get that gender equality, or before we get women treated equal to men. So we have to continue fighting for these things, including to end female genital mutilation. which we said, and I said earlier, it's a harmful practice. It's actually have health consequences and long-term impact as well. We've also had so many women who have lost their lives, women and girls who have lost their lives through female genital mutilation. And in particular, during this time of COVID-19, it becomes extra difficult for people to be able to know what is going on, in particular when you want to protect girls who can be subjected to female genital mutilation. So we are grateful. I see, you know, one side of Emily here is now cut.
Here's the
more.
Yeah.
More hair.
But this is going to go off and be made into a lovely wig.
Very good.
And thank you so much. And thank you, Grace.
And we will be posting the results of the haircut on the Instagram and the time lapse of it all. So yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to your sister for, you know, cutting the hair and being there for you, motivating you, encouraging you. Thank you to your family, and we continue. We'll be in touch with you, Emily, and the fight continue.
Yes. Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.